Okay, this is a video I never thought I would make because I never thought in a million years I would be confronted with this situation. So I follow Rach the Maverick. I have for years. Love her content. If you don't know who Rach the Maverick is, I'm gonna tag her so you can kind of get a feel for just the vibe. Anyways, so she's on Sunroom. So I'm just like clicking through, haven't even signed up for anything, just exploring a little bit of like what even is Sunroom. And there's a post where you can't see the image, but there's a quote. And before I can even see the quote, I see that it says Elizabeth Elliot, and I'm like, what the fuck? And here's the quote: "The deepest lessons come out of the deepest waters and the hottest fires." I can't. So if you don't know who Elizabeth Elliot is, dear God, you can Google that. But I just started dying laughing because I'm like, I'm sure, yeah, it sounds like an inspiring quote if you don't know who Elizabeth Elliot is. And then it brought me immediately back to being like 15 and doing free child labor, at a cult compound for the cult that I was raised in. And one of the compounds was in Dallas, the Ambassador Hotel, which has since burned down. I didn't do it, but anyways, I wonder about how that actually burned down. Anyways, no time for conspiracy theories here. But I love the thought that maybe it was arson. I think it was an electrical fire because the building was like hundreds of years old. That's an exaggeration. Anyways, I'm 15. I'm doing child labor for, I was staying there for like a week, or I don't know, I would go off and on. And Elizabeth Elliot is there, her husband Lars is there. I remember eating dinner with a bunch of staff and with Lars, and like them making jokes about how his wedding ring was from Elizabeth's second husband who was dead, but she didn't want to buy another ring, so she just gave his to Lars. And anyways, it was a whole thing. So I vividly remember Elizabeth and Lars. Elizabeth was pretty mentally gone by that point and not mobile and like very just not present. But Lars was funny, he was nice. But anyways, Elizabeth Elliot is a hot mess of epic proportions. And if you're evangelical at all, well, I say that, maybe it's just fundies, I don't know. She was a big deal. Missionary, her first husband died trying to basically insert himself into some tribe that he had no business being in, and they killed him because like this was, I don't know, he was a foreigner in being invasive and trying to proselytize to people. Anyways, it was a whole thing. But today I was having like a really rough day and feeling like there's so many things I haven't accomplished, and like just feeling really hard on myself. And then, oh Lord, hopefully everyone's good out there. Anyways, was really hard on myself, and then was scrolling on Sunroom, and dear Rach the Mav has no idea who Elizabeth Elliot is. Clearly no idea. When I tell you I'm gonna have to pause and figure out what the title of the book is. Oh, Passion and Purity. How could I have forgotten? So she's extremely abstinence focused. Another one of her books that my mom definitely had was Let Me Be a Woman, which was extremely like misogynist and anti-feminist. And Through Gates of Splendor is the book about her husband Jimelliot, who was a mess. Anyways, Elizabeth Elliot is like a pillar of Christian evangelical fundamentalism. And so the fact that I saw this on a lesbian like kink profile is just killing me. But anyways, I was feeling so hard on myself, and then I saw that, and it was like the weirdest intersection, full circle moment of things in my life, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not still that 15-year-old girl stuck in a cult. And when I was 22, I left, like very officially, and lost my family, because I'm not in the group anymore, and I came out of the closet, and it's been difficult, but I'm doing it. I'm here. I'm wearing a sweatshirt that says Happy Holidays, you know? I have my 3 cats. I'm living a great, beautiful life, and I'm not stuck in a room with Elizabeth Elliot. When she would come to the Dallas Ministry Center, which is what that compound was called, and she would give talks to, they had a horrible program called Excel, which was, it gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it, but basically teaching women to be housewives, and you had to learn sewing and cooking and proper etiquette, and like very intense for like months at a time. And when Elizabeth Elliot would come do talks at this thing, her husband had to stand in the back of the room to show that he approved, like that he approved of what she was saying, and that she wasn't stepping outside of his authority by speaking in public, that like his presence there was like his permission for her to talk. It's fucked up. It was fucked up. Y'all, I see an Elizabeth Elliot quote. Rach, if you see this, I know you're Buddhist, so you don't have the same, like, you probably get cultural Christian things because growing up in the South, like, just everyone does. But this was like a deep cut, and you didn't even know it. And thank you. Like, it was a beautiful reminder of the life that I'm living now and how far I've come. But hilarious. I implore you to look up Elizabeth Elliot, just because hopefully it'll make you laugh. And the juxtaposition of your content with that quote, there's no way I can explain it to where you will understand if you didn't grow up fundamentalist evangelical. But it's a wild choice. It's a wild choice. And it's hilarious.